journey home to your heart. Storytelling agents in America. Welcome to our home Storytopia. Asian American
Once upon a time,
Storytopia.
not so long ago.
Once upon a time,
Storytopia.
Asian American Storytopia.
Hi, my name is Nancy Wang. Welcome to Asian American Storytopia. Lots of stories and a lot of fun coming your way. So wonderful to see you here today. Let's get started.
Hello there. My name is Anne Shimojima, and I am Asian American because over 100 years ago, my grandparents came to the United States all the way from Japan. Now I live in Illinois. This story is an old Japanese folktale. It's about a man who was a judge. His name was Ooka, Tadasuke Ooka. He was so clever, stories about him spread throughout the entire countryside. He never turned down any case, no matter how impossible it seemed. For instance, there was the case of the stolen smell. Once, a student rented a room above a tempura shop. Now, tempura is a Japanese fried food. You take shrimp or vegetables, you dip them in a thick batter and fry them in hot oil. When the shopkeeper would cook his tempura, that good smell would spread throughout the entire building, including the student's room. One day, the shopkeeper overheard the student talking with a friend. The friend said, "I am so poor. I can barely afford food to eat. I can only afford plain white rice, and I am getting so tired of eating nothing but plain rice every day." The student said, "Well, I'm just as poor as you, but I have found a way to make my plain rice taste better. I just wait until the shopkeeper cooks his tempura, and when that good smell spreads through my room, I eat my rice at the same time, and it is much tastier." When the shopkeeper heard this, he was furious. He was a greedy man. He thought people were always trying to cheat him. So he went straight to the student and demanded payment for the smell of his food. "Pay you for the smell of your food," said the student. "Don't be ridiculous." And he refused. The shopkeeper was so angry, he went straight to the court of Ooka the judge and charged the student with theft. To everyone's surprise, the judge agreed to hear the case. He said, "The man thinks he has a legitimate complaint. We must hear it out." So the next day, the student and the shopkeeper went before the judge. The judge listened carefully to each man tell his side of the story, and then he said, "Well, it's clear. The smell of the food did belong to the shopkeeper, and the student did enjoy it. Therefore, there is a debt that must be paid." The student was horrified. He didn't have any spare money for a fine. The judge said to the student, "How much money do you have?" "Oh, Your Honor, I only have 3 small coins." "Good," said the judge. "Let's see the money." Well, the student held out his hand, and there were the 3 small coins. "Excellent," said the judge. "Now, I want you to shake the coins like this." And everyone in the courtroom listened to the sound of the coins clinking. "Good," said the judge. "The debt has been paid, for the price of the smell of food is the sound of money."
This is Anderson. He's my grandson. He is Asian Euro-American.
And this is my grandma Naji. She is Japanese American.
My grandparents came from Japan to the United States about 100 years ago to make America their new home. I live in Olympia, Washington.
Today we're going to show you a very funny science experiment that involves rockets. Rocket! The first rockets were used in China in the 10th century.
Making a balloon rocket will show how rockets move.
What does this have to do with Newton's third law of motion? For every action, there is a reaction. Now my Naji, also known as my grandma, will now take over.
You will need scissors, balloon, a straw cut to 5 inches, tape, and a ball of string. Measure about 2 arm lengths of string and then cut. Thread the string through the straw. Tie the string to a table leg or a chair and extend it to the other side. Fill that balloon with air. Tape the balloon onto the straw with a piece of tape. Make sure that you pinch the balloon so that the air doesn't go out. What's going to happen when we let go of the balloon? You guessed it, the air going out of the balloon is the action. The balloon going forward is the reaction. Hey, wait a minute, how did that happen?
Remember, rockets were invented in China. Thanks for watching!
Namaste, greetings. I am Roopa Mohan and I am an Asian American storyteller. I have lived here in the US for almost 40 years, but I grew up in South India. I heard many stories from a collection of ancient fables called the Panchatantra, and I would like to share one with you about a mouse bride. Well, a long, long time ago, on the banks of the holy river, the Ganga, lived a holy and wise man. Every day he would go to the river goddess and pray to her and seek her blessings. One day, something fell into his hands. Yes, a bird that was flying above dropped a little mouse. And he looked at the mouse and he was delighted. And he decided to do something special. You see, he had magical powers and he transformed the little mouse into a beautiful little baby girl. Yes, he and his wife were childless and they had always longed for a daughter. They raised this little girl with a lot of love and affection, and she grew up to be not only very beautiful, but also very smart and thoughtful. When it was time for her to get married, of course they wanted the best groom for her, and who could be better than the radiant sun? Yes, with his special powers, the holy man summoned the sun, and the sun was ready to marry her. But the young girl said, "Oh no, father, the sun can be way too hot and bright for me. I would like someone better." They asked the sun, and the sun said, better than me? Well, why don't you try the cloud? The cloud often comes and covers me, and I hide behind him. He may be a good one. Well, they approached the cloud, and the cloud came in happily and was ready to marry the girl. But she said, "Oh, no, 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 he is not the right one for me. He can get very dark and gloomy. I would like somebody else, father." They asked the cloud, and the cloud said, how about the wind? The wind that comes and scatters me in many different directions. Well, they approached the wind, and the wind was willing, but the girl said, the wind is too gusty and not constant, father. I would like another. Well, The wind was asked for a suggestion, and the wind, whistling away, had an idea. How about the mountain? You see, the mountain gets in my way and stops me from going through. He may be the right one for your daughter. Well, the parents approached the mountain, the big, strong mountain. And the mountain, of course, was ready. But the girl again had a problem with that. She said, no, father, the mountain is way too big and hard for me. I would like someone smaller. Smaller, huh? Well, I can think of someone very small. The mouse who goes in and out, tunneling his way through me all day long. Try that. Try the mouse, suggested the mountain. Well, they went and met the mouse, actually the king of all the mice in that mountain. And the girl, she got really happy and excited. She said, Father, I think he may be the right one for me. And the mouse, of course, was willing to marry her. Well, the father had to do one more thing. With his special powers, he transformed his beautiful little daughter back into a mouse. Yes, a little mouse. And grand plans were made for the wedding. They invited everyone, including the sun, the clouds, the wind, and the mountain. And the girl mouse bride transformed into a very pretty bride indeed. And she stood next to her handsome mouse king, and they both got married with everyone's blessings. And of course, they lived happily ever after. Thank you.
Well, that's our program for today. I hope you had fun and learned something new. Now, give us a thumbs up on our Asian American Storytopia channel and subscribe. It's free. Well, I hope to see you again at our next Asian American Storytopia program. Until then, 再见. That's goodbye in Mandarin Chinese. Bye-bye.